Hello and welcome back to Venture into Vim. In the previous lesson, we talked about how to perform replacements by using search first and then using replace on top of it. Today we're going to talk about macros and registers. They are two different concepts, but one depends on the other, in the way that macros uses registers to store all the commands that you type in a macro. Let me show you how it works. So I've opened Vim with this particular example of an HTML select box, and the options match all the countries available in the world. For this lesson, our job is to strip away all the HTML tags and stick with the country names. So basically we have a select tag and all the options that are inside. Let's see how much lines we have. If I press Ctrl G, you can see a little status on the file. You see this is a blank file. It has been modified because I paste the content in here. And notice that we have exactly what I wanted to tell you. We have approximately 250 countries. Would you picture yourself stripping away all the option tags from the countries line by line? When using Vim, that's considered an overkill, because we can use macros to perform the same task over and over again. You can see that the structure for each country is basically the same. You have an option that has a value, then you have the country name, and then you close the option tag. So this is common throughout the entire document, with the exception of lines 1, 2, and the last one, which closes the select tag. So the first thing we need to do is to delete this select tag, and then the first two lines, which don't match any country whatsoever. So if I press DJ, it will delete the line that's under the cursor and the one below. So DJ. Okay, now we have the list of all the countries. Now we need to come up with a mechanism that strips away all the HTML from the file. And we can accomplish that through macros. A macro is a special feature in Vim that allows you to store a command pipeline. Simply put, you initiate a macro recording, then you type all the commands that you wish, and then you finish that macro. Once you're done recording that macro, you can execute it later on if the opportunity shows. In this case, we have approximately 250 opportunities to use a single macro. That's really a productivity boost. So let's get our hands dirty. I'm going to go to the top of the file, and now I'm going to start recording a macro. You do that by pressing the Q key. Then you need to type a letter that matches a certain register. A register is a place in Vim's memory that holds any information that you need. Think of it as a clipboard manager. You can have as many registers as the keys in the alphabet and the numbers as well. So I've pressed Q already, and I'm going to press the A key. This will create a new macro in register A. So now we're ready to begin recording our macro. To explain you what I'm going to do, the main objective is to strip the option tag around the country name. And I'm going to rely on the techniques that I taught you in the previous lessons. The first thing that comes to my mind is to delete everything that's around this tag. So we have an open tag here, and we have a close tag here. We need to delete everything that's in here. So now that I have the cursor in there, in fact, let me start the recording over, because I already have a command typed, which is F and close tag. Remember that every command that you type is registered in that macro. So I'm going to start over. To quit the recording, you type Q again. In fact, the register A is already filled with the commands that I type. To show a list of registers, you type :registers. This will give you the entire list of registers available with some information. And notice that the A register has F and then close tag. Most of the other registers are tightly integrated into a clipboard, but let's not worry about that for now. Let me close this and start recording a new macro. So I'm going to the beginning of the file again, and I'll type QA. I'm going to override the register A with this recording. So now that we know what to do, I'm going to type DF and then close tag. This will delete everything from the cursor to the first close tag appearance. And that does exactly what we need. Now we need to navigate to the next open tag symbol. And we do the same thing, F and then open tag. I could have used the W key to jump a word, but for countries like Antigua and Barbuda or Bosnia and Herzegovina, there's just more than one word. And so we need to use the F key to perform a direct search into what we really want, which is the open tag. Now we're safe to delete everything from the cursor to the end of the line. And I can use delete and then $. This will do exactly what I expected. It deleted everything from the cursor to the end of the line. To finish the macro, I'm going to press J and then 0. This will put me right in the beginning of the next option available, so that we can perform the macro again. So now we're ready to stop the recording, and I'm going to press Q to do that. Let's check the register A again. I'll press :reg. It's a shortcut for registers. You can see that register A has the complete set of operations that we performed during the recording of the macro. There's not much to explain, but to execute it so that you can see what we've done. So I'm going to leave this. Now I'm going to line 2 and execute that macro. To execute a macro, you press the @ sign and then the name of the register. In this case, it will be the A register, so I'm going to press A. There. In just a couple of keystrokes, we've managed to strip the entire HTML around the country name. Now we have 246 countries, and 2 are already down. So now we can use a range in order to execute the macro multiple times. In this case, I'll try and type 244 and then the name of the register. If you executed a macro before, doubling the @ sign will repeat the latest macro that was executed. In this case, it will be the A register. So I'm going to press @ again. Better than a couple of keys to execute one time, a couple of keystrokes to execute all of it in the entire file is a massive time saver. So we managed to execute 246 HTML stripping operation into a simple macro and executing it several times. Well, that's all there is to macros. It really is that simple. The basic principle of using macros is you initiate a macro pressing Q, then you type the name of the register, which is any letter you like, and then you start recording your command execution. All the commands that you type inside a macro, either normal mode, insert mode, or even command mode, all of them will be stored in that macro. You can type stuff, you can edit it, you can perform command line calls, you can really do anything inside the macro. Then you close the recording by pressing Q again. To execute them, you press the @ sign and then the name of the register. If you executed a macro before and want to repeat it, you press the @ sign twice. I hope you're enjoying learning Vim so far. This particular scenario of using macros has saved a lot of time in my experience before. And I really encourage you to find patterns in order to practice using macros. I hope you stick around, because in the next lesson we'll take a look at some more advanced movement techniques, not just going up and down with J and K. There's really a lot of other ways to navigate around your document. I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.